Dustborn has been an epic failure for Red Thread Games. They really thought that they were going to come out with this propaganda and people were going to buy it and love it, and the exact opposite has happened. They have faced so much scrutiny over the past couple of weeks and also months leading up to release, and the Dustborn devs had just released a statement condemning the, quote, tidal wave of hate and abuse directed at their team, and of course the mainstream media is running to their defense, attacking gamers. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it's no shocker to hear the mainstream media is defending these developers and their propaganda, and instead of trying to listen to gamers, they just want to push their own narratives, and that is exactly what PC Gamer and Kotaku are doing right now. Their articles are titled "Dustborn Developers Condemn Tidal Wave of Hate and Abuse Directed at the Team," and also Dustborn devs call out the tidal wave of hate and abuse that's engulfed the game. Those who engage in such behavior will be removed from the community. Now, we know that basically nobody has purchased this game based on these Steam charts. We don't know console numbers, but we do have a good estimate, and that is no people bought this game. I mean, the title on Steam was a flop, and judging by the fact that these developers are now melting down and lashing out at people who have criticized their title, it seems like they are taking all of this in a not so positive way. They are kind of not sure how to deal with all the backlash they've faced. And now, of course, Kotaku's PC gamers are running to their defense, yes, saying gamers are truly terrible people. This is the Kotaku article I figured we'd start out with. It says, Red Thread Games adventure rhythm action game Dustborn has been out for a week and a half now and spent most of that time at the center of culture war BS. The game certainly has some problems we laid out in our review, but if you search the game on Google right now and look at the user reviews, you'll see plenty of user reviews complaining not about any legitimate gameplay or design gripes, but instead the woke mind virus and a bunch of other buzzwords used to complain when people of color, queer folks, and overtly leftist politics are expressed in media. I say this all the time, developers are allowed to create what they want. Red Thread Games was allowed to create this piece of propaganda, but that doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and blindly support it. That does not mean I'm going to sit here and say you guys should play this because it presents a different viewpoint than ours, and that means that they deserve your money, because they don't deserve your money. Developers are not entitled to our purchases. They are not entitled to our support, and the mainstream media may think this, the developers may think this, but it just makes them look absolutely pathetic. I hate when Kotakus and Polygons and all of these activists try their best to say because you don't like it, you are an IST, you're a phobe, you're a something or another, because they cannot accept the fact that the majority of people don't want to consume this slop. Instead, they could have said, oh, well, you know what, this isn't a game for everyone, and of course harassment shouldn't be, levied towards people for creating this product, but at the same time, I understand that gamers are going to criticize it. No, they're labeling any sort of criticism as hate speech, harassment, vitriol, and that's not what's happening. Yes, I'm sure that there are a few people going too far, because there's always bad apples in every single bunch, but the majority of people are just saying this looks like trash. It is barely a game. I mean, it's a 98% walking simulator where you're canceling people, you're triggering people, you're bullying people. I mean, the cast of characters is really cringeworthy. Everybody is mean and rude, even though you're supposed to all be friends. It makes no sense. This game is a clusterfuck of propaganda, bad writing, and bad designs, and they have come out and talked about how they face this alleged hate and harassment. Of course, they did not provide any sort of screenshots or evidence pointing towards these claims that they're making. Probably because they don't really have any. Yeah, they have faced criticism, but these people will call criticism hate speech and harassment any chance they get instead of just accepting the fact that people do not want to buy their garbage. Kenneth here, this Kotaku activist, says, when I played through Dustborn, I felt a deep sense of dread because I knew it was inevitable this game would receive this type of ire. It features a mostly POC cast, includes queer people, and isn't subtle about its politics. There's no plausible deniability here of the sort that some other video game companies try to conjure when pressed about a game's political themes, as its story set in a dystopian alt history America explicitly explores the concept of a country's descent into fascism and the ways it affects marginalized people. It's always stop making my games woke and make your own until someone actually does it. Yes, I think that it's better that they make new games and try to explore new stories instead of taking an existing IP and twisting it around and basically going in and tearing it to shreds. But that doesn't mean that you are blindly going to get support. That does not mean that, again, you deserve gamers opening up their wallets to support your product. You still have to create something good, and they did not do that here. They felt entitled to our money, and that's just not going to work. And it's hilarious that this activist says they knew that it would receive backlash because, yeah, you know how gamers feel about video games. You know how we feel about the stories that we want and the stories that people generally do not like. That means that you are trying, I guess, to listen to what people have to say, but you're not fully understanding why people do not like stories like this. We want escapism. We want good, fun stories. And yes, games can touch on very serious, heavy themes, whether it is violence and, of course, gore, or you get into sexual themes, sexually mature themes, or politics. You can put these into video games, but you still have to create a good, cohesive product, and they didn't do that there. And of course, PC Gamer is doing the same exact thing, talking about how they're so upset this game faced so much hatred, even though they don't understand why people do not like titles like this. They're talking about how it attracted a considerable culture war backlash as seen in various user reviews, YouTube videos, and Reddit threads where you'll see the word woke used a lot. Yeah, well, if I go to PC Gamer or Kotaku and I click opinion pieces, all I see are terms like racist, sexist, bigoted, for not supporting the content that these mainstream media activists want me to support. So yeah, you can say, oh my gosh, these people are spamming videos and user reviews talking about how woke it is, but on the flip side, you guys spam articles on about how we are ISTS and Phobes for not blindly supporting the products you want us to support. So if you're calling us bad, you're just as bad, and in my opinion, significantly worse. You are not listening to what people want. Neither are these developers, and this is why they don't deserve your money, because they create, propaganda piece after propaganda piece, and they don't listen to what customers and gamers actually freaking want, and they deserve to get roasted for it. And that's what's happening over on X on the PC Gamer and Kotaku threads. Tons of people are pointing and laughing at them because there's only a couple of people still playing this game. The media is trying their very best to hold on to this title, and they're really trying to prop it up, but gamers are not listening to the mainstream anymore. People do not trust you guys anymore, and you cannot sell games anymore. You can't just put up a couple articles on a product and have it do amazing numbers like they used to, and they're freaking out because they are losing control. It's a Gundam said those 4 people better shape up or ship out. What community? And it shows that there's 32 people in game. They don't have a community that's sort of a core understanding of their backlash. Also, a real journalist would probably cover the government funding related to this game. No, the mainstream has not mentioned even once the fact that this was funded by the government, that it raised funding from the government, which is hilarious and just shows how biased they actually are. Over on the Kotaku thread, the same exact thing is helping, doesn't help their player numbers at the end of the day. It's not hate and abuse when the majority of people are just criticizing your game for being garbage. Also, there is no community for this game. There is a small crowd. Now, of course, I don't think this is going to be the last time we hear about Dustborn and the mainstream trying their very best to shill for Red Thread and this title. I will be keeping my eye on it, but it's hilarious to see these journos try and hold on to the little bit of influence they still have because they are losing it very quickly and they're melting down over it. But that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.